Peter is a member of the Armed Forces of the United States of America. In the early years of his service, Peter was sent to Afghanistan to serve at one of the American bases. The army encampment was situated next to a small village of peaceful people. Whilst the people there are generally wary of the American military, it does not stop them from forming casual friendships and maintaining cordial relationships amongst them. Peter was no different. He too formed friendships, one in particular was of extreme importance to him. Peter fought, Peter got hurt and Peter healed. Through it all, his best friend, Saif, stayed by his side. Peter continued to serve his years in Afghanistan. He was allowed to go back to the States once in a while, but he always opted to go back to Afghanistan, even voluntarily. He rose through the ranks, and still he served there. When it came time for him to retire, Peter could not fathom leaving. After serving his time in the army, Peter continued to stay in Afghanistan, with Saif. He learned how to speak the language fluently, and made more and closer Afghani friends. On one such occasion, he met Saif's friend's sister, Ofri. She was sharp, funny, and smiled with her eyes. Peter's visits grew in number, and Ofri would always be ready to meet him. 7 months after they met, Peter sat her down, and bravely walked into her family's house. Ofri's father was a progressive man, and soon, Ofri and Peter were married in true Afghan festivity. 2 years later, they were blessed with a beautiful boy, and the next year, a girl. Ofri and Peter were elated. Their family grew, happy and content, managing the harshness of life in Afghanistan with vigor and drive.
Peter, do you ever think to bring us to America?
Maybe on a visit someday, yes, but I cannot explain it. I feel like my feet are planted here. I could not leave Afghanistan, not truly. I think my heart would always be here.
But life here is so hard, sickness is rampant, life is frightening at times. I worry for our girl when she grows older.
Like her mother, she will survive and thrive. I don't worry. I think I would only consider leaving Afghanistan if I were to suddenly fall sad. Till then, I believe my feet will always be here.
And truly, Peter's feet remained firmly planted. In addition to his pension, he started to own cattle and sold milk. He lived peacefully with his family in Afghanistan for a full 17 years. Then, disaster struck. As he was tending the cattle one day, his horse was spooked by a snake, and he was thrown. His horse then trampled him. Peter died very soon after. There was not much that the doctors could do. His family mourned him greatly. His children missed their father, and his Ofri felt like a piece of her soul left. Yet the family was not allowed to mourn in peace. Peter had, through his business and his pension, acquired a handsome little pile of assets. Ofri's father urged her to settle this matter of inheritance before the matter went to stale, and others attempted to claim his money. Ofri did not want to listen, but was proved right, when, a week after his death, a letter from America came, from a person who was purportedly Peter's mother, wanting her share of his bile. Ofri immediately went to Saif. Through his contacts, he managed to track 2 lawyers down. They began attempted to understand how the pieces to Peter's life and this issue.
This matter of inheritance, it boils down to his domicile, no? And he is surely American. He was a member of the armed forces, their domicile does not change based on where they are deployed.
But I found this case, Donaldson versus Donaldson. If we can prove that he had residence here and had intention to stay, we could prove that his domicile changed.
Genius. I believe considering the case of Stone, his staying with Saif, his friend, after retiring, and later living with Ofri, constitutes residence easily enough.
Agreed. If we look at Kramer versus Kramer, it also shows that intention can be proved by him staying here by choice. The conversations Ofri and Saif reminded us of I'm sure will prove this. So will his friends and his businesses here.
What of his contingency though? If we were to use their conversations, that did come up according to Ofri, when he said he would return if he was sat here.
I thought of reverse. The man there lived in England for 39 years. His domicile of origin was Rhode Island. His farm and everything else connected him to England however. His children studied there, and his sons served in the military even. The court applied the common sense approach. Even if he said that he would continue to stay there as long as he was healthy, the court felt that that was too ambiguous. I think the same could be said of Peter's case here. He was happy, his business was here, his family was here, he loved it here. I do not think his heart was anywhere but Afghanistan. What would sad even mean anyway if we considered it? It is too vague.
I agree. Tomorrow, let's visit Afri and Saif.
And so they did, reassuring her that her late husband had acquired a domicile of choice in Afghanistan. Therefore, all matters of inheritance were going to be governed by Afghani law. Her children would be ensured their inheritance